Right, here we go again. Another week on the run. So today is Monday, 13th of September 2021, of course. Planned a full 5 days on the run this week. Quite a good start to the week. Today being Monday, of course. So fuel prices as ever. So my Shell card, which I get through UK Fuels, that's 107.96. So that's gone up a touch since last week. They've both gone up a touch since last week. So I'm guessing that's just a market. It could just be both of them, trying to drift it up a bit. And the BWOC or BWOC card, that's their Control 4 Diesel, which is their own card, which uses a Key Fuels network. That's 106.66, so 1.3 pence a litre cheaper than the Shell UK Fuels one. And then with the VAT, so I'm going to use the BWC BWOC one, obviously, it's pretty much 128 on the nose, 128.0. Still a fair bit cheaper than what I'm seeing on the forecourts, especially for the branded fuel, but it's still cheaper than all supermarkets I've seen, really. Yeah, so this morning, pretty standard for a Monday morning, about 10ish, pretty much bang on 10 actually. I started looking for jobs. I got 35 minutes until to get the job, so 25 to 11, got a job through. That was picking up in Lichfield. Or just north of Lichfield, there's a place called Fradley Park, which is like a big distribution place just off the A38. It's where I used to do all my Yodel stuff from last year, first lockdown for 10 weeks or so. And there's at least two, I think there might even be three, pallet network depots there. So picking up from one of them, one I'd picked up from before, just the once actually. And this shipper, they actually pay by cheque. They're the only company who ever sent me a cheque. So when I got the cheque through off them, I wasn't impressed before, but so thought I'd have to find time to go to a bank. But with my internet banking, the app on my phone, I can just take a photo of it as log on to internet banking via the app. And then you can pay in checks that way and just scan it using the camera on your phone. So it didn't work initially, and then eventually I got it to work. Because I got a business account, I use a HSBC, I always have done. So I've actually got like a personal account, and then I don't have all my invoices and stuff paid into that. I have a separate account, which is actually a business account, where all my ins and outs for the business come, and then I just transfer money across to live off and stuff. I find that's definitely worth setting up a separate account, just to keep the two separate. But because it's a business account, they do charge for paying in checks. So I thought, how much is that going to be? It's 50p a check, so it's nothing really. So anyway, we went and picked up there, straight in. Guy came out and loaded me within 5 minutes. But he had a little scanner thing, and he had to scan the pallet before I could take it to say, he'd loaded it for it to go. And his scanner wouldn't work, so he disappeared on the forklift, came back with another scanner, couldn't get that one to work, radioed his mate, who came down, and he couldn't get his scanner to work initially, but then something happened and it worked. And then he says, yeah, good to go, mate. So nipped to the office, get the paperwork, 2 copies of the paperwork, happy days. So yeah, I was probably there half an hour in the end. It should have been 15 minutes, but it's just one of them things, isn't it? Big straight run down to Wokingham, which is by Reading. I've got a mate who originally came from Wokingham. Never been there before doing this. I think it's pretty close to Reading. Tipped it to this company. I recognise the name. They're watches. They make and sell watches. They're like a watch brand. And I got to the address, and it's one of these ones where it's got the unit number, so you just go to the unit number, but there's no markings on the building. I don't know if that's just because they do expensive watches and they don't really want to broadcast where they are because it might get broken into or whatever. I'm guessing that's what it was. Anyway, unloaded, pretty straightforward. The pallet it's one of these ones where I got him to push it on quite far because it was 850 kilograms, this pallet, and he could just get his forks under like the last bearer. So he lifted it up, put it on a slight tilt, and try and drag it back towards the back door so he can get under it properly. As he did that, the bearer kind of like tore off the pallet, or was starting to tear off the pallet, so I had to get the strap out, wrap it round the full length of the first bearer to drag it out and then get it out, because it looked like it was going to get in the right mess, this pallet out first. Anyway, tipped that. Less than an hour, I'd say, to get my next job. It was reasonably busy down there because it's pretty much last week. My first job was to Reading, and then I took that job to Torquay and the southwest, and it kind of went wrong from there. So I was determined to get a job to a more of a normal place, or a busier place this week. The job pinged up. That first job was a long wheelbase job. It was 125 miles, and I charged 135 quid, and I was 16 miles from home to pick it up, so it was like 95 pence a mile all in. So pretty good. The second job was a small van job. I didn't think I'd get it because I priced it at 85 pence a mile including getting there, and it came out at £137 for 147 miles loaded, which is quite a lot for a small van job. But I was putting a note if it's a small van that I'm in a long wheelbase van. And yeah, I got it. Bit of a faff trying to pick up this one, Farnborough, right next to the airport. Big airfield in Farnborough. I think it's more of a military sort of airfield than, don't really do much domestic. I think they might do like private flights, that kind of thing, private planes. The postcode took me to the wrong side of the airfield. Normally when it's like this, I won't just go off the postcode, but I thought, stuff it, it's going to be close enough, and then I'll just work it out from there. So I realised I was in the wrong area. Actually googled the name of the business park, and it showed it was like the other side of the airfield, so like to drive around the airfield for like 3 miles. Great, do that, get the wrong entrance, and it was a right faff to find the right entrance. And when I got there, it's one of these high security places. You can't get in without being signed in or escorted and all this stuff. So yeah, like I say, military airfield and stuff. So there was a name and a number on the booking, so I rang him and he said, I'll bring it to you. All it was a Dell laptop, looked like a new laptop. I think the guy was from the IT department, and drove straight to Nottingham, delivered it to a private address to one of their employees who obviously lives up here. And that was that. So yeah, I finished. So I started about 10 and I finished about 7:30. That's a 9.5 hour day. Taking the 272 or 273 or something like that. 272, I think. So that's a pretty good start to the day, since it start to the week, and I didn't start till 10. So yeah, pretty solid start to the week. This is obviously, it's dark now, isn't it? It's like yeah, it's not massively late. It's like getting dark at like 7 now. So a lot of these are just going to be filmed in the dark from now on, because that fun side of the job, going to explore in the evenings, can't do it so much when it gets dark in the winter. So that is the start of the week. Right, quick update. So it's quick update, Tuesday night, parked just up the road from the house. So very quick update so we can get in and get some kip. So good day today, 3 jobs. Best day I've had earnings wise for a few weeks. So actually, after I filmed the last bit last night, a job pinged up which I managed to get, so I had one booked in for this morning. It was only a small van job from centre of Nottingham, NG1, about 4 miles from where I was, going to Leeds, 74 miles loaded, so it was like 78 miles all in. I quoted 75 quid and got it. Like I say, it was a small van job, picking up at 8, so it was pretty nice really. Tramped in some housing area last night, reasonable night's sleep. Up, went and got that, just picked up from a property. Wasn't too bad. I thought it might be a bit of a pain because it's so central, but turned out alright. Up to Leeds, no traffic. Delivering this was a COVID sample, and it was going to a health centre, just like a normal health centre. I've not done one quite like that before. And then the package, when I got it, the address label on it was for the lab in London, central London, WC1H, that I've delivered quite a few to in the past, but not for a while. Kind of knocked them on the head, or doing them on the head. I'm not sure they actually do them straight to there anymore. I haven't seen any jobs going there for a while. I tend to go to the Norwich lab now when I see them. But anyway, yeah. And the lady on the reception, she said, "Are you a courier?" And I says, "Yeah, yeah." And she says, "Do you know why they've actually arranged for a courier to bring it here and not just put it in the post?" I was like, "Sorry, I have no idea." So I did wonder, is she just going to stick it in the post? So somebody's paid 75 quid for me to do it, plus the shipper's cut. And then maybe just get stuck in the post anyway. Who knows? Pulled up outside that. It's quite busy up there. First time I've been up sort of like West Yorkshire, Leeds way for quite a while. I think that's West Yorkshire, Leeds, pretty sure. And it was very busy to feed. Lots of jobs on there, pinging all the time. It's all obviously nice to see. I bid on 3 jobs. I think I bid on 4 jobs, sorry. I got 3 of them phoned me, just give me the job. And I had two blind calls. So the first call back I had about a job, I missed it because another shipper rang me. One I hadn't bid on their job, and it's starting to get a bit like now occasionally. You know, when you see it, if you're on the feed, if you're on the CX, you'll know what I mean. It'll say e-quotes only. So don't ring them, just e-quote them. And if you're not, yeah, it's just the shipper doesn't want everyone calling them because they haven't got time to take calls. They just want you to bid on the thing. And there's a few jobs in there. There's one shipper, soft drinks, and then a few alcohol drinks as well. Quite a busy shipper in that area. And he blind called me and says, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah. You've got any available in the area? We've got a few jobs there, blah blah blah." And there's all jobs I'd seen on the CX, and I decided not to quote on them. Because oh yeah, I appreciate you probably don't want to go north, but you know we've got some local ones. And I said, "Well, I'm looking for a longer job, and ideally going south. So sorry, I can't do it." And then he says, "Oh well, do you want to do one of these while you're waiting for or looking for a longer job?" And I said to him, "Well, I can't do a job and look. It's just me, you know what I mean? Just trying to blag me into doing it." And he was just like, "Oh, right, okay, fair enough." And this shipper in particular, he got some funny conditions when you get the job notifications through, like if there's an issue with the load and you have to go back to the pickup, take it back to the pickup, it's only paid at 50% rate. Fox, first fox I've seen in a while. Yeah, little fox. Sorry. Anyway, yeah. Trying to be quick here. And there's a few other things like 60 minutes waiting included, which is too much for a van. And then it's like paid at like 10 or 12 pound an hour after that, which is not very good. So I'm not exactly massively motivated to do work for them anyway. And while he was ringing me about that job, it can be a bit of a nuisance call, because if they put them on the CX, then you see them and you decide if it's for you. It's a quote. I missed a call from a shipper at a job I'd bid on, and by the time I'd got off the phone to them, rang them back, I had to wait in a little queue to get through to them, and then when I did, they said, "Oh yeah, it was that job, but sorry, it's sold to someone else now. It's given to someone else." So that was it. A bit miffed about that. And then it kind of worked out alright in the end, because another shipper rang me on the job I'd bid on, and I got that one. And that was going Normanton to Bristol. And then immediately after, when I got that job and stopped speaking to them on the phone, the phone rang again from the third job I bid on. I said, "Sorry, I just accepted one." So 3 rang me back of the 4 I bid on, and then when I was that one blind call or whatever, if you want to call it, or what's going on here, and then on the way to pick up, another person rang me. It kind of annoys me, not annoys me, but I don't get it with the CX. When you put, at some point when you're on a job, when you're updating a status, it changes to unavailable on a job from available. And I think it is when you say you're loaded. So I can't understand really, because for me, once I say I'm on my way to pick up, I'm on a job, so I'm not available. So I don't know if there's any way of changing that somehow in the settings. If anyone knows, let me know. Or if the CX happen to watch this. I just don't understand that really. Once you're on the way to a job, you're on a job, and it's a hot shot. I don't do back co-loading, so yeah. So yeah, anyway, went and picked up this job. It was 1 pallet with a box on it, cardboard box. Apparently inside a cardboard box was a little fridge, and that went down to a massive shopping centre in Bristol, just off the M5. Forgot what it's called now. I'll put it on the screen. Absolutely massive place. So I sussed it out initially on my on the Google Earth, worked out where the delivery point was. When I actually got there, there's a barrier. There's no one in the security gate. So I pressed the buzzer thing, and he says, "Oh yeah, you're not booked in, mate. You need to be booked in, and then your registration will be put on the system, registration number, and then the barrier will automatically open. You need to get your bosses or whatever, ring the office and get them to email." Gave me the postcode, email address. So that was a bit of a faff. I had to phone them, give them the email address, then they had to send an email, and then it just opened and I went in. So it wasn't a massive delay or anything, but when I spoke to the shipper, when I rang him up, like, "Oh, you had a right pain in the backside there. He had the right pain there and all this stuff." So he actually knew about it. So I'm kind of thinking, like, could you not have done it before I turned up? But a bit for planning, isn't it? Tipped that there, and then that was about 3:30. Went down the road, parked up in an Asda, and the job pinged up going to I should have silenced my notifications. I didn't think there'd be so many this time of night. Yeah, and the job pinged up, but not picking up until 7:30, but going to Wolverhampton WV10. So I thought I'll have that, or I'll go for that. It's only a small van job. Kind of thought it was going to be COVID samples going to this lab I've been to once before in Wolverhampton. It was. Picked up from some multi-storey car park in the middle of Bristol, BS2. A bit of a pain because I couldn't go into the car park because the van's too tall. So I had to leave it on a double yellows outside with the hazards on. Shoot up to the 5th floor. And I got them. Had a little wait, but it wasn't too bad. And then shot up to Wolverhampton and delivered them. So yeah, 3 jobs today. 75 for the first one, 190 for the second one, which turned out at 90 pence a mile, all miles, and then this last one probably just over 90p a mile at 97 pence, £97 all in. So that's like 360 or something for the day. Long day, 14-hour day, but about 3.5 hours in the middle of a day where I was killing time. Cleaned the van and back of the van out, hoovered the front, did some shopping, that kind of thing. Yeah, so yeah, that is up until the end of Tuesday. It's going quite well so far. Gonna go and have a kip in my proper bed. Right, Wednesday night now, about 9 o'clock. I'm in a sort of Dartford area. How did I get here? So I made it home last night, pretty late by the time I got in and stuff, but still nice to get home, have a sleep in my own bed during the midweek. Worked out quite nice. Obviously have a shower in the morning, had a run before I did, so get a bit of midweek exercise in, which is a bonus because working like the way I do, it's hard to get in like regular exercise really. Consistency is key. It's hard to be consistent with my exercise, so that was quite nice. This morning I started looking for jobs about 9:20, which is a bit later in. ideal, but hey ho. Actually took me an hour to get a job, which is quite a long time for as it is at the moment. Usual story, when you take a little while to get a job, when you do get a call, you get two like on the bounce. But so the first job, and the one I did, was picking up in Telford, and going down to sort of this area. Well, yeah, it was just around the road from where I was, sort of Grays area, Purfleet, really close to the Dartford Bridge here. So yeah, that was 170 miles, medium wheelbase, and I quoted 170 quid for it. I think it's 171 miles actually loaded, but I was 27 miles from it, which was 35-minute drive. Things with Telford is quite a big place in terms of industry. There's loads of like quite modern sort of industrial estates around that area. Telford's a new town, and it's one of them places where there's probably more work comes out of than there are like drivers. It's kind of like on the fringes of the Black Country. So I find that, and also north of Wolverhampton, like just off the M54, quite often get jobs off there because they can get straight down the M54, get to them pretty quickly, and there's not a great deal of competition. That's why I think quite a long job for £1 a mile in a medium wheelbase is a good price for me. Went and picked it up just from some insulation place. It's one pallet it's like a 2.5 metre long pallet, if not longer. So they loaded it with our long forks and this massive big block of white foam on top, which is kind of quite flaky. So it's cleaned the van yesterday. I was covered in flakes of this foamy stuff, but no big deal, not moaning, just saying. And then it was straight down here and tipped it, pretty quick to tip, but we didn't have a forklift, so handballed it all off, no issue there. Went to local supermarkets, use the facilities, looking for jobs. There were jobs coming up, but it's getting that point then by sort of like mid-afternoon, jobs coming up for tomorrow. I start thinking, when I'm down here, it's good to get one booked in for the morning, getting out of the southeast, particularly if it's going up to like Yorkshire or Lancashire, northwest, or the northern belt as I call it. So I left it when I started bidding on them. I didn't get any of them, but I did get a job for today, which been posted a few times. I could see they were struggling to sell it. Courier that does a lot of parcel collections for the parcel networks, and sure enough, that's what it was. It was only like 9 miles loaded, 9.5 miles. Long wheelbase van. I was 11 miles from it, so 20 miles all in. I went in at 55 thinking they're going to knock me down a fiver, so I'll go in at, I want 50, I'll put 55 on it. And she just rang me up and gave me it straight away, but she said, can you get there sharpish, because like it shut at 5 and I got there 10 to 5, 35-minute drive to get there. Bit of a nightmare finding it. In the end, it was just it sounded like a storage place, but in the title, but it was, I think it was the old storage shed for like a carpet shop on this like little high street, and I had to reverse down this little side alley full of vans and everything, and they loaded me. It's supposed to be a short wheelbase job as well, this actually, so I've got 55 quid for a 9-mile short wheelbase job. Maybe that's just London and they were struggling to sell it. I later found out why they were struggling to sell it. So yeah, the pickup wasn't easy to find or get to. Got loaded pretty sharpish. There's over like 200 boxes, and it was feeding into a parcel network in the Grays area. I won't say which one it was, which shipper it was, which customer, but interesting to know if anyone's done these. And I went into a place and I got there, and there was loads of vans parked up. There was 6 vans in front of me. There's like one doorway in and out of this place, and there's trucks going in as well and out, as well as all the vans. So basically it took me an hour there, just over an hour to get in and get tipped. Had to tip, reverse up to the belt and tip all of them myself, no help or anything. Not a big deal or anything. A bit of grass, no harm, quite like it, but I've heard of, people have been alright feeding into these parcel network hubs before in the past. I never really had been in one for a long time, but this is the first one that was a bit of a pain, really. I think this is what people are on about, so I'll probably give this one a swerve from now. I know with this shipper, if it's going to there, this is a parcel network and it's a right pain. And when I rang them up, the shipper, she says, "Oh yeah, that one's a bit of always a bit like that, to be honest." So yeah, okay, won't come here again. But 55 quid. I phoned her up about waiting time because I was there like an hour and 10 or something. And she says they have to apply to the parcel network and then it'll get added to the job tomorrow. So I couldn't close the job down. It says by midday tomorrow it should be updated, and I'll probably get might get 20 quid, but I'll probably get 15. And I was only going to ask for 10, so quite happy with that if I get it. So I'll just have to wait and see on that one. I mean, it was good money on a job, but I was thinking about it mileage ways. So it's 55 quid, trying to do 25 quid an hour when you're on the job. About an hour's worth of driving and about an hour and a half's worth of an hour and a half, an hour and 3/4 worth of loading and unloading. So that's 2.5 hours for 50 quid, or 2 hours 45 for 55 quid. It's just not enough, is it? So yeah, so that's why I asked for extra money for waiting on this one. I tend to find with longer jobs, like if there's a bit of extra waiting, there's normally doing like, especially long motorway jobs, sometimes doing 35-40 quid, like from start to finish a job, even with a bit of waiting. So like I tend to be less inclined to bring up on the longer jobs because earning good money on it anyway. So that was a day packed in. This is a bit of a find this actually. So Dartford, the last junction, heading south or clockwise on the M25 before you go over the bridge. The last junction, if you come off there, is a big retail park, big shopping centre. I think the other side, something Lakes. There's a big Tesco here, and I thought that's bound to have restricted parking because it's next to like a big retail park. They don't want people parking in their car park all day, but no, nothing. So keep here tonight. So if I do stop down this east end of London, Dartford area in the future, this will be my go-to tramping location. Right, quite late now on the Thursday night. Gonna go to bed soon. So 2 jobs today. I made my minimum target just today, 220 quid. Just been not exactly a stellar day, but not terrible either. So I started off down in Grays area. Started looking for a job about 7:30. Got a job 8:45. Yeah, it was going, I'm not going to go into too much detail today just to make it short. It was going from sort of Grays area, a few miles from where I was. So that's one pallet from a massive sort of, have you ever heard of Procter & Gamble? A massive one of them by the Dartford Bridge. And it's one of the biggest sort of industrial sites I think I've been to since I've been doing this, and there's just so many trucks around the place. It's crazy really, in different hauliers there and that. And the whole place just smelt of washing up powder. I picked up one pallet of like big Hessian bags, like the builder's bags, on a pallet, flat packed, sort of squashed down, unused kind of thing. And I took them to Crew, a company in Crew that make them sacks, or at least print them. I don't know, you get builders bags and they've got the name of the builder's merchant on them. This company obviously specialised in just doing that. So that put me in Crew. Not the best run up, quite a lot of delays around the M6 through Birmingham and stuff, so I went through Walsall. Don't think it saved me any time, put about 40 minutes on the job, but anyway, it happens every now and then. Just have to take it on the chin. So I tipped in Crew, yeah, about 2:30 or 3 o'clock-ish, something like that anyway, yeah. I think it's more like 3, I don't know, maybe it's 2:30. And I was there for a while, and there's a few jobs I've been on but didn't get anything. Crew's a bit of a funny thing, is the place. So there are a fair few jobs that come up around there, but you're kind of in between the big areas of, like, you're quite far from like Warrington and the M56 sort of corridor, quite far from Manchester, not all that far from Stoke, but anyway, in the end, there was a job on there pinged up with shipper I did yesterday, and I knew it was going to be the same. It was going to be parcel collections again, like yesterday. It was 2 pickups in Wrexham, dropping back to Crewe, and it turned out to be literally 50 yards from where my last drop was, one into Crewe area. And I thought it was totally the wrong way around. It was like 30 miles on a job, but I was 30 miles away from it, kind of thing. So it's 60 miles all in. It said pays 60 quid. So yeah, I don't know why I went for this job really, but I went for it in the end. I think it's just because it was going to get me up to target for the day. Went for it anyway, got it. 2 pickups from Wrexham, dropped back, and it was the same parcel network, but this depot was quite modern, and it was just like total complete opposite to the one yesterday. It was like loads of room, people were milling around, and it just seemed to be a lot more relaxed. Put it in some cages, and they took it off me and signed it for it, so that was easy. Got some food. Excuse me. There's a food. A place called Haslington. The outskirts of Crewe. Chinese. Had omelette and chips. Quite nice. The omelette was really nice. And a job pinged up from Stoke for the morning, picking up at 7. It's only a short wheelbase job going to Bolton. I think it was 67 miles. I went in at 85 quid, which I thought, possibly a bit rich, but early pickup, and they posted it late, and I mean, long wheelbase. It kind of worked out at about 95 pence a mile, all miles. Anyway, yeah, didn't get the call straight away, but they called me back, giving a job, so I thought, well, early pickup, go and park up close to the pickup. So I moved over to Stoke. Just as I was getting here, the shipper rang me up and says, sorry to say the hadn't been cancelled, but the customer has changed it now. It's now a time delivery, and you can't deliver it till 10:30. So I was thinking, if I pick it up at 7, I'd be done and dusted by 9. She's saying, can you still do the job? And I was like, do I not? I'm here now. So I just said I'll do it. That gets me over my target for the week. My minimum target, 1,100 quid on this job. I'll do in the morning. And then I've got to get a job back. So it'll be like mid-morning and mid to late morning in Bolton, and I've got to get a job back to the West Midlands tomorrow, being a Friday, of course. So yeah, it's going alright this week, money-wise. Not a stellar day today, but yeah, it just happens sometimes. She was very apologetic. I was kind of hoping she'd say, maybe we can put a bit extra money on it for you, but I had priced quite high because it was a short wheelbase job anyway, so I felt I couldn't really ask. But that's it anyway. That's Thursday done. Right, Friday evening now, last on the run update. Yeah, so I went and picked that job up. Got there a bit early, said 7:30, didn't they? But I got there like maybe 10 past. Sorry, said 8:30. An amended job. Got there like 10 past 8, maybe slightly before, and I was loaded and out the gate by 8:30. So, and then pretty straightforward drive up to sort of Bolton way. Right next, so pretty close to Bolton Wanderers football ground. Delivered it there. It's let me in a quick tip, so I was pretty much done by just after 10. So pretty good start. And then, so it was 85 quid for that job. About 95 pence a mile, all miles. And then I parked up down the road, and a job pinged up from Widnes, which is quite far from where I was. It was like 50-minute drive going to Birmingham. Long wheelbase, 750 kilograms or something. 3 metre load length, it said. So got that job. Turns out when I got it, I realised I'd been to this place before, and I think it was for the same shipper. Got quite good money for this job. Can't remember exactly in terms of pounds per loaded mile, because I was quite far from it. I just priced at 85 pence a mile straight through, take me to Birmingham, closer to home, really close, well, pretty close to home on a Friday. So yeah, I thought happy days, that'll do me. Got my job, chuffed to bits, turn up to get it. Go up to the office, get the ticket, give it to the guy on the forklift, start opening the van up, getting my straps ready, and then the phone goes and it's the shipper. And the shipper goes, oh yeah, blah blah blah. I understand there's a bit of a problem with this job. And I was like, is there? They hadn't said nothing to me, they just rang the shipper straight away. So he said, yeah, we don't think it's going to fit. Can you have a look and just let me know, whatever. And then the guy took me for a walk into the yard, far end of the yard, and these things, have a look at this photo. Yeah, so they were 3 meters long, but they were also 2 meters wide. So that's quite an important information, you know, it's not just the length for something. You do get this a lot sometimes. Well, I'll say a lot, but it's like how long's your van, the load length. But it's also width is obviously important as well. And there's only 2 of these I was supposed to be taking, so they were like 375 kilograms each. So there's no way they could be put sort of on an angle thing, because they had to be loaded with a forklift, because you're not going to lift that. I wouldn't really want it to have loaded it like that anyway. So basically this van needed a Luton curtain side, no need for a tail lift, obviously it'd have to be loaded, side loaded with a suitable forklift. So I went outside, rang the guy again, and told him, you know, it's a no-go for me, you're going to need a curtain side Luton. He says, okay, what's your cancellation? So I said to him, it's normally 25, but I've driven quite a while to get it, quite a long way. I'd like 30, and he says, yeah, no problem. So I got 30 quid. It was like, I think it was only 24 miles, but it was more of a time, really. Yeah. Anyway, I got 30 quid. Maybe we could have gone less, but I don't know. Yeah, so that was that job. So then I parked up outside there, looking at the feed, just looking for jobs to the West Midlands. So it's like getting towards midday then, sort of 11:30 maybe. And then a few jobs were picking up out of Preston with a shipper. I knew the job because you look at the job notes and you know, and I knew it was a pickup I'd done 3 times before. The Peri Peri fast food restaurant deliveries. So there's a few going to Leeds, and I thought, well, they're no use to me. Hopefully there'll be some going to Birmingham, and it was. They pinged up. In the past, I've always done 3 drops on this, and about the ton mark, but this was only 2 drops and about just over 700 kilograms. So I went in at 150, which is actually £1 a mile, including getting there. Quite a long way to get there, like 30 odd miles. It's 112 miles loaded, 2 drops, so, and it's full handball at both ends. It says in the job notes, you'll be offered them goods on a pallet. If you put them on a pallet, you have to keep the pallets, because it's handball at delivery, or handball on, handball off if you can't keep the pallets. So whenever I go to this place, I just handball on, because I don't want to get lumbered with the pallets. While I was there, 2 other people turned up and they just took it on pallets. So, but you know, it's delivering to fast food restaurants in, like, you know, small town centres and quite hard, you know, limited parking and stuff. That's why they put it on vans and stuff, you know, and parked on double yellows, and they just got like an alleyway down the back. They haven't got places for pallets and stuff. So fair enough. So 2 drops, usual story. With most of these drops, you don't get any help really. You have to just take it to the back door, and they take it from there. Thankfully, both of them had shopping trolleys that they'd obviously nicked. So I'm just going backwards and forward to the van, to the back of this thing. Just looks, seems a bit amateurish to me, but you know, you just make use of what's there. Using a nicked shopping trolley to move goods across the road and stuff, and get it where it needs to be. And yeah, got them done. Bit of a nightmare drive down here with traffic. The M6 was pretty chocker today. It was Friday afternoon and couldn't avoid it because I have to get home. Yeah, so it's been a pretty good week this week. And I also, the job from Wednesday, the job into, I say it was Hermes, the one down in Grays, that was delayed on. They still haven't updated the job. So I was going to ask them for 10 quid waiting time. and the lady said I should get 15 to 20, and I rang up, got through to a guy, and he was like, oh yeah, we haven't actually heard from them, but was it 20 quid was it? And I said, yeah, and he banged 20 quid extra on a job, so that was 75 instead of 55, so that worked out all right in the end. So yeah, pretty good week. Obviously I'll do the summary, but yeah, pretty good earnings this week. Pence per mile's pretty good, I think. Not spectacular, but well above my minimum target. So yeah, good week. Gonna go and get me shopping now, and crack on with the weekend. Right, Sunday afternoon now, so time for the weekly summary wrap up. Yeah, so full 5 days on the week, 5 days on the run. I got home one night. It was Tuesday night, so that's 3 nights in the van. Haven't had to put the heater on yet. Still, not quite really, still quite warm in it so far. So yeah, let's go straight into the numbers. So yeah, pretty good week this week. So Monday, 2 jobs, 135 and 137, which was 272. Tuesday, best day of the week, 3 jobs, 75, 190 and 97, which is 362, so nicely we're £300+ day. Wednesday, 2 jobs, 170 and 75, which comes to 245 for the day. And then Thursday was my worst day of the week, but I still made my sort of minimum target, something I say is my minimum target for a day. So it was 2 jobs, 160 and 60, which is that 220 minimum target. Then Friday, really good day to finish off the week, and did have that cancelled job, but yeah, it's actually worked out better in the end having that cancelled job. So it was 85, 150 and 30, which was the cancellation, to 265. So I either met or exceeded my minimum target for each day. Total 1,364, which is £272.80. So that is my takings for the week pre-VAT, so I get to keep 4% of the VAT I charged. 4%, 40%, yeah. So every £10 I charge in VAT, I'm on the flat rate scheme, I can keep £4, and then I give £6 to the VAT man in on revenue. Because that's charged at 20% for every £100 I earn, that's actually worth £108 to me. I do treat it as income because that's the way the taxman does, so it's tax payable on that. I have to declare it as my taxable income. So in terms of miles, 1,452 was 5 full days and a busy week, so yeah, knocking on 1,500 miles. That works out at an all miles pence per mile from leaving here on a Monday to getting back on a Friday of 93.9 pence a mile, so yeah, pretty happy with that. No additionals, no charges, no tolls or bridge crossings or congestion zones or anything like that this week. So my approximate after my fixed costs, £20 a day, working day, minus my running costs, which is 30 pence a mile to cover fuel, depreciation, servicing, tyres, all that malarkey, comes out a pre-tax profit, if you will, because profit is kind of like my wage, of 937, which a day is 187, so they're approximate numbers. So that's pretty good week in terms of earnings. Nothing really stood out this week in terms of like interesting places I went, or like nice jollies and stuff, but as I said, it's kind of getting nicer drawing in now, so by the time I finish, sometimes it's like an hour maybe of light, and then that's it, it's dark. So yeah, so that was the week. As I have any comments, any tips for me or anyone who watches it, and if you could also if you like the video, give me the thumbs up or thumbs down if you don't like it. Subscribe, it all kind of helps YouTube, and more like to suggest it to people, and the more people watch, and the more people comment, and the more better it is for everyone. That's the way I look at it. So yeah, planning full 5 days next week. So going out tomorrow. Just doing a few jobs on a van this week to get it ready for starting to use a heater again. So that's how I've been spending my part of my Sunday today, and doing a few modifications, but I will probably release that in a separate video. But as ever, cheers for watching.